Ladies and gentlemen. So, a guy messaged me on social media the other day with a story that, from the onset felt wonderful but took a downward spiral real quick. He thought he was in the perfect relationship. Loyal girlfriend, zero drama, everything smooth, until one day he noticed something very, very small. A random coworker commenting under her posts. She laughed it off. Oh, he's just a friend from work. 2 weeks later, she suddenly turned extra sweet, loving, more affection, random gifts, more I love yous than usual. He thought, wow, maybe we're reconnecting. But in reality, she was covering her tracks. Fast forward a month, she tells him she's having a girls' night out, but her phone dies mysteriously and she goes missing till morning. Comes home smiling, holding coffee, saying, hey babe, I fell asleep at my friend's house. Now this guy wanted to believe her, and he did for the most part until a friend slipped and mentioned a guy she was close to at work. That's when it hit him. Every extra hug, every late night, every fake girls' night was part of a cover-up. She didn't just cheat, she planned it. And that's why this video had to be made, because too many good guys like this get played by women who know exactly how to hide it. Indulge me. Jessica Oas here. Welcome to the channel. Remember to always look out for the name Jessica O's, the channel name Jessica OS, to be sure that this advice is coming authentically from me. AI has taken over YouTube, unfortunately. Mark from work, or he's like my brother, or babe, you're so paranoid. He has a girlfriend. Those lines are designed to disarm you. She's not just being transparent, she's training you to stop questioning that man's role in her life. And over time, you'll start to believe that he's safe. You stop noticing the texts, the long phone calls, or the fact that he always seems to show up when you two are fighting. See, women are masters at creating plausible innocence by introducing this friend. Very early, she gives herself cover for future interactions. The twist is sometimes that guy starts as a genuine friend. It's true, but emotional intimacy begins to grow, and then the lines begin to blur. She starts venting to him about you, sharing things that used to stay between you two. And that emotional closeness becomes the bridge to something more. Let's be real. Women rarely cheat with strangers. They cheat with someone who feels safe. Now, how do you spot it? Watch for energy shifts. If she suddenly becomes defensive or protective about that friend, that's your clue. If she goes out of her way to explain why they talk so much or starts hiding her phone when he texts, she's not protecting privacy. She's protecting a secret. Another red flag when she starts comparing you to him in subtle ways like, oh, why can't you be like Josh? Or Josh actually listens when I talk. These are emotional slips. She's already began idolizing the other man, so don't get distracted by titles. Friend, colleague, mentor. Those words mean nothing if the energy between them says otherwise. Trick 3. Routine manipulation. This is where women get dangerously smart because they know men trust consistency. When her routine looks normal, you stop asking questions. And that's why she hides the cheating behind her habits and not outside of them. Hear me. She doesn't suddenly start staying out all night or skipping work. That's amateur, right? Instead, she keeps her schedule identical. Same gym days, same hangouts, same girls' nights every Friday. Everything appears predictable. But what changes are the tiny details within that routine. Maybe she stays an extra 45 minutes after work because of a project. Maybe her yoga class now ends later because the instructor added stretches. Or maybe she just needs alone time to clear her head. The point is, she uses structure as her cover. Because most men don't question the familiar, they trust it. Here's how to spot it. You start to feel something's off, but nothing looks wrong. She's still posting on social media, still laughing at your jokes, still doing a couple things, right? But her timing stops making sense. The stories don't fully align. She'll mention going out with friends, but forget the name of the restaurant they're going into. Conveniently, she'll say she left work late, but her coworker's post shows that they left hours earlier. It's the micro inconsistencies that give her away, not the big stuff. Cheating women know that suspicion lives in change. So, they avoid visible changes at all costs. They don't change their perfume, their hair, or their schedule. They just repurpose parts of their day for someone else. I guess what I'm saying is, if your gut tells you something is off, even when the surface looks perfect, trust it. Because when a woman starts hiding her chaos inside the normal, it's strategy. Pure strategy. Trick number 4, the guilt flip. When a woman cheats, she knows eventually you might sense something is not right. Maybe she's distant, guarded, or her storyline just doesn't match up right. So before you can even call it out, she'll flip the entire script on you. She accuses you. Suddenly, you're the one being distant. You're the one acting different. She might even throw in, "Are you seeing someone else?" That's the guilt flip. It's genius because it puts you on the defensive. Instead of investigating her, you start explaining yourself. She redirects all your emotional energy from her to you. And here's the crazy part. She doesn't even have to be aggressive about it. Sometimes she does it so subtle, right, with emotional guilt. She'll say things like, "I just feel like you don't love me anymore." Or, "I don't know, I just feel like you've changed." Now, these statements sound vulnerable, but they're actually psychological misdirection. By making you feel responsible for the emotional distance she's created, she resets the narrative. The move also helps her justify the cheating to herself. If she convinces herself that you are neglecting her or making her unhappy, she doesn't have to feel like the villain. It's a mental loophole. "I only did it because he stopped caring." Let me give you an example. Say you start noticing that she's glued to her phone, always turning the screen away from you, and you walk in and you ask, "Okay, who are you texting?" Instead of answering, she snaps, "Well, why are you so insecure? I can't even have friends now." See what she did? She's tired of being accused. And just like that, you start apologizing to the person who's lying to you. That's the power of the guilt flip. It's emotional blackmail dressed up as defense. So, when she suddenly starts making you feel like the untrustworthy one, remember to pause because that's not confusion, she's covering up. Women who cheat often need to create chaos to hide in it. And the moment she makes you question yourself instead of her behavior, that's when she's already 2 steps ahead. Social media sleight of hand. In today's world, cheating doesn't happen just in bedrooms. It happens in DMs, private stories, hidden message threads, etc. And no one manipulates social media better than a woman with something to hide. Women are masters of curating an image. It's practically instinct. So when she's cheating, she doesn't delete or disappear. That would look suspicious. Instead, she camouflages. She uses social media the same way a magician uses misdirection. She keeps your eyes exactly where she wants them and away from where the truth really lives. Let me explain. When a man cheats, he's often sloppy. New followers, weird likes, shady DMs. When a woman cheats, her online presence usually looks cleaner than ever. She'll post you on her feed, drop happy couple pics, right? Even tag you in a cute relationship post, not out of love, but to reinforce the illusion of loyalty. She knows that public validation will buy her private freedom. Meanwhile, the real action is happening behind the curtain. She's running a close friend's story that you're not a part of. She's replying to his messages through disappearing chats on Instagram or Snapchat. She's using an alternative account, the business page, spam account, or backup as her secret communication line. And here's the clever part. She won't hide everything. She'll purposely leave breadcrumbs that make her look innocent. Maybe she'll show you her DMs once in a while or scroll casually through her feed in front of you. It's controlled transparency. She shows you just enough to make you think there's nothing to see. But the real trick, she hides behind the algorithms and privacy settings. Private stories, archive posts, deleted message chains, or maybe she just switches her texting app. "Oh, I just talked to him on Telegram because it's for work." Yeah, work. That's why catching a woman through her phone or her socials is so hard, because she's not deleting evidence. She's designing invisibility. I'm giving you game, guys. Look, here's what you need to pay attention to instead, okay? Sudden social media silence when she used to be active. That's often when she's shifting her audience. Changes in who interacts with her content. A new top liker or consistent comment pattern from someone unfamiliar to you. New boundaries around her phone. If she used to scroll freely but now tilts the screen or locks it quicker, that's not privacy. It's simple strategy. Women know social media is a more than a Libby. She doesn't need to lie. She just needs to curate. So if her online life feels too perfect, too polished, too controlled, understand that perfection is often a sign of management and not innocence. Because when she's cheating, she's not deleting, she's simply performing. Trick 6, the emotional replacement. Most women cheat in their minds first. They build a connection somewhere else, slowly, quietly. And by the time you notice, that emotional bridge has already been crossed. Here's how it begins. She starts sharing her deeper thoughts with someone else. Maybe it's a friend, a coworker, or some guy who just listens. Right? At first, it sounds harmless. Venting about work, talking about her goals, complaining about something you said that she doesn't quite understand. But little by little, she starts opening up to him the way she used to open up to you. It's emotional transfer, and once it happens, you're not the only one inside her world anymore. Now, emotional cheating feels different from physical cheating because it's invisible. There are no lipstick stains, no suspicious texts, just small behavioral shifts that slowly drain the intimacy out of your relationship. She's there physically, but she's not present. You'll notice her laugh doesn't sound the same. Her affection feels rehearsed. Her compliments are generic and not personal. It's like she's there, but her heart just simply is somewhere else. And when she starts comparing you to this new guy, even slightly, it's game over. He's just easier to talk to. He understands me in ways people usually don't. She's not saying she's attracted, but she's laying the foundation for it. That's how it happens. Emotional cheating becomes the emotional replacement. Now, pay attention and note. Once a woman replaces you emotionally, she doesn't feel guilty about cheating physically because in her mind, she's already checked out. She convinces herself the relationship was already broken and that the other man simply stepped into the space that you left open. It's not true, but it feels true to her. If she's sharing her thoughts of laughter and her vulnerabilities with another man, the physical part is just a matter of time. You see, because for women, emotional cheating isn't the warm-up, it's the real affair. So, if she's emotionally leaning on another guy more than she's leaning on you, don't ignore it. It's not a friendship. You're being slowly replaced. And finally, trick number 7, the good girl persona. See, when most men think of a woman who cheats, they imagine someone flirty, secretive, reckless. But the woman who really gets away with it, they're the ones who actually convince everyone, especially you, that they'll never do that ever. They actually build an identity around being a good girl, a loyal one, an honest one, the one who hates cheaters, and says things like, "I'll never forgive that." If it sounds familiar, take note, 'cause it's a setup. By constantly talking about loyalty and morality and what other women do wrong, she's constructing a psychological shield. You stop questioning her, not because she earned your trust through transparency, but rather, she's conditioned you to believe that she's incapable of doing same. And that's why she starts cheating, because no one suspects her. Not her friends, not her family, and definitely not you. She's the last person anyone will ever point a finger at. And that's exactly what makes her so effective. You see, this good girl act doesn't just protect her reputation, it also protects her ego. She doesn't want to see herself as the villain, so she doubles down on virtue. She talks about how she values honesty, posts quotes about self-respect, might even act judgmental towards other women who cheat. Behind closed doors, she's emotionally or physically involved with someone else, maybe an ex-coworker, and she's sleeping soundly at night because in her mind, she's still a good person. And that's the scary part. When someone builds their entire identity around being different from the rest, they're not trying to be faithful. They're trying to look faithful. And if you ever start questioning her, she'll weaponize that image. Wow. You think I will cheat? After everything I've said about cheaters, that guilt trip hits hard because you start to doubt yourself instead of her. She's not innocent. She's just smart enough to use innocence as armor. So, don't get blinded by a woman's reputation or her words. Look at her patterns. Because loyalty isn't proven by what she says in public. It's revealed by what she does in private. That's a lot for you to break down and think about, and I understand. But you see, these videos are necessary, and that's why I put them out. Watch this video next. If your woman does this, she's seriously cheating because the signs are always there. You just have to know where to look. Jessica OS here. Thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. What I want to talk about today is both painful and absolutely necessary. Why people cheat and, more importantly, how we can protect the relationships we love the most. This is not a moral lecture or a call to shame. This is a clear-eyed look at human behavior so we can prevent harm, repair damage, and build relationships that last. There are 7 core reasons that researchers, therapists, and everyday couples repeatedly identify when infidelity happens. Understanding these reasons doesn't excuse betrayal, but it helps us see where the cracks begin so we can seal them early. Reason 1. Unmet emotional needs. Many affairs begin not because someone suddenly decides to be cruel, but because their emotional account with their partner has been running at a deficit for months or years. People need to feel seen, heard, appreciated, and understood. When they don't get empathy, validation, or emotional intimacy at home, they may seek a substitute, someone who listens, remembers small details, shows up in consistent ways. Protection strategy: cultivate emotional attunement. That means weekly check-ins where partners speak and listen without interruption, where emotion is prioritized over problem solving. Practice reflective listening. What I hear you saying is what, and validate feelings even when you disagree about facts. Create rituals of appreciation. 3 things you appreciated about your partner that day, authored and shared before bed. Small emotional deposits compound into resilience. Neglect compounds into vulnerability. Reason 2. Sexual dissatisfaction or mismatched libidos. Sex is not the only glue that binds 2 people, but sexual intimacy is a major channel for connection and vulnerability. When desire levels diverge and communication is poor, one partner can feel rejected and the other pressured. Affairs sometimes offer a quick fix for a long-standing mismatch: novelty, affirmation, and erotic validation. Protection strategy: normalize sex talk without shame. Schedule honest conversations about desire and timing and fantasies and boundaries. Consider sex therapy or medical evaluation when physiological factors like medications, hormonal changes, or illness are involved. Reclaim curiosity together. Experiment with date nights, new contexts, or sensual but non-sexual touch exercises to rebuild erotic connection gradually. Reason 3. Opportunity, boredom, and novelty seeking. Human brains are wired to notice new rewards. Novelty triggers dopamine. In long-term relationships, routine reduces novelty and can dull excitement. Some people are more sensation-seeking than others and will take risks when opportunity presents. Late-night texting with a coworker, social media DMs, or travel that isolates. Protection strategy: create healthy novelty inside the relationship. Plan surprise weekend trips. Learn something new together. Set up mystery date nights. Build boundaries around risky situations. Agree together about what counts as intimacy outside the relationship. Be transparent about online friendships and make safety plans for times when one partner will be around tempting circumstances. Reason 4. Unresolved personal trauma or attachment wounds. People who carry unprocessed childhood trauma, insecure attachment styles, or prior betrayal can behave in ways that sabotage relationships. They might push partners away, seek validation through multiple connections, or unconsciously recreate patterns that feel familiar to them. Affairs can be reenactments of earlier pain rather than purely about the current partner's faults. Protection strategy: invest in personal healing. Encourage individual therapy, attachment-focused work, or trauma-informed therapy for the wounded partner. Learn to name triggers and create plans. When old patterns emerge, if I notice myself pulling away, I will say to you, "I am feeling triggered and I need support," and the partner replies with a prearranged supportive response. Reason 5. Poor communication and conflict avoidance. Couples often think, if we ignore that issue, it will go away. But unresolved conflicts erode trust and intimacy. Silent resentment is a powerful engine for infidelity because it makes a partner feel unsafe to share true needs. Protection strategy: adopt a fair fighting protocol. Use I statements, I feel, I need, rather than accusatory language. Impose timeouts if fights escalate. Schedule a regular problem-solving session where each person gets 10 minutes uninterrupted to speak. Bring in a skilled couples therapist when patterns become entrenched. Reason 6. Identity crises and life transitions. People change, sometimes suddenly, through career shifts, midlife awakening, spiritual seeking, or after major losses. When one partner evolves and the other does not, the gap can leave the evolving partner feeling lonely and misunderstood, making them vulnerable to outside connection that seems to match their new self. Protection strategy: grow together intentionally. When a partner announces a desire to change, new career, fitness, learning, respond with curiosity rather than fear. Create shared goals and allow individual projects while maintaining weekly alignment conversations. What's one way you felt close this week? What needs attention? Reason 7. Moral disengagement and slipping boundaries. Some people rationalize small ethical compromises that gradually widen into full betrayal. It was just a text. It didn't mean anything. We're only friends. This slippery slope is well documented. Small transgressions, if unchecked, become patterns. Protection strategy: make explicit agreements and return to them. Define what emotional and physical fidelity mean to both partners. Write them down. Revisit annually. Use transparency as a relational tool. Shared calendars, open social media habits, and agreed-upon check-ins can rebuild trust. After knowing these 7 routes, how do we protect a relationship proactively? Start with prevention. Early, explicit, compassionate conversations about needs, desires, expectations, and boundaries. Don't assume your partner knows how you feel. Assume instead that you must communicate openly and kindly. Create habit architecture: weekly couple meetings for emotional check-ins, monthly State of the Union talks about the relationship direction, and annual retreats to reconnect offline. Normalize repair. Expect that humans will fail. Build rituals for repair that include apology, restitution, and behavioral change. When breach occurs, the response matters more than the failure itself. If infidelity happens, survival is possible, but requires structured repair, immediate cessation of the affair, transparency about the facts, as much as the betrayed partner can handle, and a temporary pause on decision-making while emotions settle. Seek professional couples therapy experienced in betrayal trauma. Use specific tasks. The betrayer must show consistent accountability. Open communication logs, check-ins, and small, reliable behaviors that demonstrate commitment. The betrayed must be allowed to grieve, feel angry, and set boundaries. Healing cannot be rushed. Take real-world, practical steps to lower risk. Restrict alone time with potential partners when sober. Limit late-night socializing without your partner. Be candid about friendships that feel risky. Emphasize ethical social media usage. Algorithms are designed to create intimate-feeling connections, so treat online emotional intimacy as real and potentially dangerous. Name what crosses the line. Build sexual safety by scheduling intimacy and prioritizing physical touch and erotic communication, but never weaponize sex as a tool or punishment. Invest in the marriage or partnership as if it were a business you co-manage. Set shared goals, allocate time and energy, check who's carrying what load, and redistribute when imbalance creates resentment. Learn to spot early red flags that could signal deterioration: sudden secrecy, defensiveness about phone use, withdrawal from sex, an increase in irritability, sudden interest in new friends who exclude your partner, and a history of boundary violations. When you see these, don't launch into accusation. Ask curious, non-blaming questions. I've noticed you seem distant lately. Is something going on that I can support? Practically use scripts that lower reactivity. When I notice X, I feel Y. Can we talk about it? Teach couples to disagree without demeaning each other. Use neutral tone, timeouts, and structured problem solving. Deep work includes addressing attachment styles. Learn whether you're avoidant, anxious, secure, or disorganized, and adopt strategies that fit your profile. Avoidance practice vulnerability in small increments. Anxiously attached partners learn self-soothing and clear requests. Both learn to soothe each other without escalating into blame. Encourage shared rituals that build safety. Weekly gratitude, daily 10-minute walk and talks, intentional date nights, and spiritual or reflective practices together, prayer, meditation, or simply reading aloud, that re-anchor the relationship in higher purpose. Empower individuals with personal responsibility. Each person must maintain a life beyond the relationship. Friends, hobbies, growth pursuits. So the relationship is a joyful choice, not a desperate need. This autonomy prevents suffocating dependencies that sometimes fuel cheating. Teach healthy relational skills to children so the next generation learns trust, communication, and emotional regulation early. When betrayal occurs, use a staged approach to repair, immediate safety stabilization, stop the affair, emotional triage, space for the betrayed to process, truth-telling with limits, honesty about key facts but with professional, guidance about timing, accountability planning specific behaviors the betrayer will commit to daily, and restorative actions, couple therapy, reinstating predictability. Beware of simplistic scripts like forgive and forget. Healing is deeper and slower. Forgiveness is a process the betrayed person may undertake for themselves, not a requirement to restore the relationship overnight. Keep in mind cultural and contextual realities. Infidelity has gendered impacts and legal consequences in some places. Respond with safety in mind when there is risk of harm or violence. Prioritize safety plans, trusted third parties, and legal counsel if necessary. For the betrayed looking to rebuild or exit well, center self-care, sleep, nutrition, trusted support, therapy, and boundaries. Avoid impulsive decisions to punish or retaliate. Wait until clarity returns. For the betrayer seeking redemption, accept the discomfort of accountability, stop minimizing, stop gaslighting, and accept that trust is rebuilt step by tiny step through predictable behavior. In public-facing content and living rooms alike, we must replace gossip and moralizing with honest education. Teach how affairs start, how to lower the risk, and how to restore dignity when things break. Consider preventive couple education, premarital counseling, workshops on sexuality, conflict management courses. These are not shameful, they are investments. Use evidence-based frameworks like Gottman method principles. Build fondness and admiration, manage conflict, create shared meaning, and emotionally focused therapy that reattaches partners at the level of core fears and needs. Financial transparency also matters. Hidden accounts or secret spending can erode trust in ways that prefigure or accompany emotional betrayal. Agree on norms around money and debt. If you suspect cheating, avoid amateur sleuthing that escalates the breach. Document observed behaviors, seek a trusted advisor, and prepare for a calm truth conversation with boundaries. Promote radical honesty as a relationship value. Speak the truth gently and early. Normalize admission of desire or attraction that is non-threatening, and create a safe environment where partners can bring up worries before they metastasize. Encourage couples to schedule periodic relationship audits, look at frequency of sex, quality of communication, division of labor, sources of resentment, and plan corrective actions. Use technology wisely. Consider shared calendars, location check-ins temporarily during trust rebuilding, and agreed-upon privacy norms. Importantly, recognize that not all infidelity ends relationships. Many couples rebuild stronger, more honest partnerships after betrayal. This involves intentional rituals that mark the restart, a recommitment ceremony, new couple goals, or a symbolic reset to mark transformation rather than punishment. Finally, cultivate a community ethic. Healthy relationships thrive when surrounded by healthy social systems, friends, mentors, faith communities, therapists who model accountability, forgiveness, and relational competence. Avoid toxic social circles that celebrate promiscuity or normalize deception. Instead, build supportive ecosystems that value long-term flourishing. If you lead others, coaches, influencers, religious leaders, teach practical steps rather than simple moralizing, give scripts for repair conversations, provide referrals to clinicians, offer support groups, and reduce stigma around therapy. Remember, the goal is not to police desire, but to steward relationships wisely. Desire is part of being human. Fidelity is a practice discipline that requires skill, empathy, and humility. In the end, protecting your relationship is less about catching potential cheaters and more about becoming the kind of partner someone would never want to leave. Be present, be curious, be brave in repair, and invest in the tiny habits that make love durable. If you want, I can expand each of these 7 reasons into separate full-length chapters with case studies, dialogues, therapeutic exercises, and 7,000 words or more in total. Say extend, and I'll continue in the same single paragraph format until we hit the length you requested.